Hey guys, it's your boy the Human Atlas back again today with a new career mode. This time it's a custom career mode of Atlas FC, and wait, those jerseys don't look right. That's better. Here we are with some custom jerseys with a custom club. Here are some of the jersey designs we're going to be using this season. Let me know what you think of them and what should be changed for next year. We find ourselves in League 2, completely, custom players as it is with Create a Club. Not too bad youth academy, some good keepers we have ourselves in there. But let's get into the transfers. William Cox going to Etienne for 1.45. Jake Parr going to Hatayspor for 540,000, and James Wood headed to Cambridge for 180,000. But now it's time to make some transfers ourselves. The general transfer policy for this club as of right now is to not only look for young players, but as well as former wonder kids that haven't quite lived up to their potential so far, as well as players that I've generally enjoyed using over like the 7 or 8 years I've played FIFA career mode extensively. And if you haven't recognized him from his face scan already, we got ourselves a former wonder kid, formerly of Bayern's Youth Academy, now plying his trade at Holstein Kiel in Germany. It's Jean-Fiat Arp, 69 overall striker that we got on pretty much a bargain. He's only 21. He can get that dynamic player potential, and he's 2 million. And to pair with him, we got ourselves another German player. But this one is playing in Switzerland currently with Luzern. He also has a little bit of Premier League experience, so, getting him in League 2, I see no problems with this. Max Mayer, 71 overall cam for 1.85 million. This brings us to our first game of the EFL League 2 season. We got ourselves 2 marquee signings, but the rest of our side, it's in the high 50s to mid 60s range in terms of overall. So let's see if we're ready to take on any competition. The first highlight, Robert Quinn coming in from the back line with an excellent challenge, 2 passes, and Arp puts his first goal away as a Atlas FC player, and I promise this is the only time I show myself ever doing the gritty. I wish I could do that athletically in real life. Second highlight here, this time in the 22nd minute. Some good play out of the back again. This time again, it finds Mayer wide to Patterson. And this is kind of a general theme of how we score goals. We start playing out of the back, we get ourselves into good positions, and Mayer this time uses some twinkle toes and some fancy footwork to place it past the keeper for 2-0. Next highlight here in the 54th minute, our left back Young gets a hold of the ball. Ball moves forward quickly. Mayer finds Arp to Patterson, and instead of the usual cross or pass the ball in, Patterson takes it himself to make it 3-0. That takes us again to the 65th minute. Now, Arp doesn't have Premier League speed yet, but he can beat some center backs, and he will not be caught. 4-0. And then for the last highlight of the game, it's the 73rd minute, and perhaps the best goal of the game. Filthier than a Taco Bell bathroom. It's Max Mayer with the chip, 5-0. What a great way to start the season. But we did need some striker backup. We were pretty thin depth-wise, so we got ourselves a loanee from Burnley, Lewis Richardson, with a buy clause of 700,000. This brings us to a competition that will get a lot of coverage this season, the Emirates FA Cup. For some reason, the board wants us to reach the round of 16. Let's see how well that works. This is our first match, and actually it finds us ourselves in January when it happens, against Leyton Orient. Here I get a little bit careless on the ball with Watts at right back, and, well, Leyton Orient punished me for it. Ball gets forward very quickly, and I'm caught in 2 minds with Donaldson, and I'm not able to get over in time. Leyton Orient make it 1-0. This brings us to the 39th minute. Kind of similar circumstances. Orient going down the left side. Smith has it, and they're going to cut it back to the inside, and it just gets messy. But this time, our youth academy keeper from France, Aubert, is able to get a firm hand to it. We weren't able to really do anything until the 50th minute of the second half, or in this case, Anderson cuts it back, and when you give Arp that much space, you know he's going to score. It's 1-1. But only 4 minutes later, Leyton Orient, getting pressure back again, finds it to Drinian. Aubert with another great save, although I will say his positioning there is suspect at best. But Leyton Orient would get another corner from it. And from this corner, different routine, but they whip the ball in, and one of the best headers I have ever seen, especially for League 2 side. Just goes top left for Lane Orient, 2-1. Only 5 minutes later, Lane Orient are this time on the defensive, and Ward just finds himself in the middle of the box there with like a weird finesse shot that somehow beats the keeper. It's 2-2. And then directly off kickoff, homie pulls out prime Messi skills. Drinian finds Smith. He's just going to beat me on the right side. I don't know what's going on with Watts. He had a decent season, but this game in particular, he just wasn't fast enough. And Lane Orient, again, reassert their lead. Now in the 71st minute, it looks like Lane Orient might have another chance to make it 4-2, but it's us with our classic counterattack here. Ball goes wide to Stanley, cuts it to the inside, and I don't know what that one center back of theirs was doing. Homie went flying forward for no reason, but we hold up the ball just a little bit. Patterson finds a crease. It's ARP. It's 3-3. This man is an absolute demon when it comes to finishing. Now, the dreaded Lane Orient corner, 3-3, ball's kind of just falls in the box, but it's another counterattack. Rogers, who had just been brought on at this point, he's got the stamina, he's got the pace, he's got the fresh legs, and is a 2v1 against the keeper, and Ward slides into the DMs of the goal, unlike my Instagram situation right now. Although, I hope it's getting better. Copium. Anyways, it's 4-3 now, 88th minute, time to put the game to bed. ARP sends that man packing. He's playing in China now, like Dylan Brooks. And it's 5-3 to the good. Side note, the only reason I'm leaving this celebration in right now is because, like, although I like seeing the team get together, this is like the second round. Y'all are hyping this up more than ESPN FC hypes up Luton Town getting to the Prem. Now, good on them, but if I see another Instagram post about, oh my god, this 10,000 person stadium that, like, you enter through people's apartments, they're going to be playing in the Prem, that's crazy. I got it. Oh, and also, Max Mayer made it 6-3 at the end. And we are now on to transfers. We only had 2 transfers during the January window, with Louis Platt headed to Doncaster for some experience and Dario Asugo coming in to help us out at CDM for 6 months with a buyout clause that we can't afford. This brings us to some more FA Cup action, this time against Premier League competition for the first time. It's Crystal Palace making their way to the Nexus Stadium, and they make their prestige known almost immediately. 4th minute, it's a corner, something that we haven't been particularly good at defending this year. But Crystal Palace get the ball again in the 29th minute this time. It's on the counterattack, and look how free this man, Wilfried Zaha, is. He doesn't have anyone in the same zip code as him, yet still manages to, like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to skill pass it twice. Edouard makes it 2-0. This game looks like it could get ugly, but it's the 36th minute now. Stanley has the ball. Just Odriozola is just completely sold there. And Stanley able to get it back into Saeed. ARP, the Moses apparently parted the Red Sea for this man to make it 2-1. Maybe the game won't be a blowout. And then it's another corner. Right before halftime, ball whipped in. We all know how that ends. It's 3-1 Crystal Palace going into the break. On the other side of the break, 50th minute, we retake possession, and it's ARP who decides to put on the absolute burners and beat Richards, which is kind of sad because I'm a U.S. men's national team fan, but I like it when I score more. We make it 2-3. Now, 62nd minute, ball whipped over to Zaha. It's a one-on-one with Verstrada, and spoiler alert, Verstrada is not in the same, dimension as Wilfried Zaha, but we kind of get unlucky there with our keeper, Rowland, kind of mishandling the ball, but he does his best to block it. It's 4-2 Crystal Palace, though. And then, 75th minute, Jordan Ayew just narrowly beats our left back and makes it 5-2. With only 15 minutes left, we needed to make some changes. So we brought on some fresh legs with Wall, Walter, and Max Mayer, who didn't start because of fitness concerns. But you might be asking, does this even matter? We're down by 3 goals. Crystal Palace is a Premier League side. Well, it turns out that on the sideline, manager Atlas drew a little graph, and the lines just happened to intersect between the find out axis and the fuck around axis. Crystal Palace fucked around and found out. 76th minute, Walter has to hold the ball up for a little bit to let our team build up and join him. Wall outside to Rowland. Rowland has a little bit of space, looks inside and finds Walter, who finds Arp with one of the best upper 90 finishes you'll ever see to make it 3-5, although he decides to kick the ball in the back of the net instead of pick it up. Crystal Palace had a chance, but it gets smothered by Aubert. Now we're on the counterattack. Wall, Walter plays it over the top with a scrumptious ball. Arp makes a meal of the center back again. It's 4-5. We need to hustle. We got 8 minutes left to get our equalizer. Now it is 84th minute. Crystal Palace, can they put this game to bed? No. Eze loses the ball to Rowland. Rowland finds Walter. Odriozola bites again. Mayer, Arp, can he beat Richards again? No, he has to go to the outside. Holds the ball up a little bit in kind of a winger position, but Walter slips through the cracks. It's 5-5 in the 87th minute. Now this is where we celebrate like this, but the job is not yet done. 89th minute. Crystal Palace, we need to hold them off for just a little bit longer. Mateta gets... I'm glad it wasn't called a penalty, because that was just FIFA physics at its finest. But either way, we have the ball in kind of a quasi-counterattack, and just Arp doing his magic, finding Patterson on the wing. Run is being made, but Watts has to get the ball first, back to Patterson. Now it's Arp. Cuts the inside. Mayer, the super sub. You wouldn't see anything like it again. 6-5 AFC. Which brings us to the table at the end of January. We are in 4th position with 2 games in hand, only 8 points from the top. But let me tell you, the line or the point differential to 17th is about 7 points. It is a very tight season that could go either way, which makes every game important, especially against our picked rival this year, Salford City. As much as I would like to make it a bigger club as we, progress through the leagues, how EA is with Create a Club, and Salford City get their chance early on, but our keeper is equal to it. 54th minute. It was kind of a dead first half. Asugo finds Arp. Arp finds Richardson, who finds Brown here, and as much as you feel bad for those kind of things, it's equally satisfying when the keeper slides into the DMs, only to get rejected. Now in the 74th, Watson on the ball here, and he does one of those time finishing things. Our keeper ain't catching that. That was an absolute boomstick of a finish. Now, 86th minute. Heartbreak. Watson, again for Salford City. I'm in 2 minds. I don't really close down the ball well. It's 2-1 Salford City, and you think the game might end this way. 90th minute. They just pass the ball away poorly. Rogers turns it to Richardson, and we have a break. Arp, Salford's left back sells, and Arp always has the pace in League 2, always has the finish. We make it 2-2 and leave this game that we probably should have lost with a draw. This brings us to the next game against Stockport. Another mid-table side, but as I said, it's a very narrow gap between mid-table and where we are seated in 4th. 38th minute, though. Beautiful ball over top to Arp. Brings it down exquisitely. Finds the left side of the net. It's perfect for 1-0. Then just before halftime, Sullivan whips the ball in here to Stanley. Kind of a weird clearance. And then, for some reason, their left mid decides to slide tackle on a ball he's never getting to. Although I feel a little bad for the lad, it is definitely a Stonewall penalty. We take a second here to decide who should be taking it. We decide that it's going to be Ward, as he is the one who earned the penalty. Plus, we like to see everyone get their name on the score sheet. So he puts a very nice finish into the bottom left to make it 2-0. 76th minute. Ball, again, kind of down weirdly, and ricochets all over the place. Thank God that didn't go in, but that was honestly Stockport's best chance the entire game. Now we're in the 83rd. Rowland on the ball. Finds, does really Collar before he finds Ward. Ward with a dink to Arp. 1 bounce, 1 goal. It's 3-0 for the win. And this is the last game of the season. I'm not going to spoil how important this game is, but let's just say it's for the title. Grimsby Town against Atlas FC. We're in the 3rd minute. Pierias here finds Clifton. Clifton wide to Glennon. Then Glennon plays this ball back weirdly. We intercept it, and for some reason their center back says, you know how many studs are enough? 2 foot. And he finds himself a red card. Grimsby Town down to 10 men in the first 10 minutes. But, as it seems to be the case in every FIFA game, if the computer has 10 men, that means they play better. But that really isn't the case in this particular highlight, starting at the 9th, heading into the 10th minute, with Richardson receiving the ball off of the clearance, and then just a unfortunate touch from there, I suppose, substitute center back, and Arp has the pace, he has the finish. You expect him to score from those situations, it's 1-0. And another expected to score situation, because our defense can't defend set pieces, they have a corner, we get mossed, it's 1-1, Grimsby get back into it. And you know that bit where I said they play better with 10 men? I can kind of blame this one on me a little bit. I'm just not closing down the attackers in any way that I should be. Glennon finds a beautiful ball across here to Clifton, and we get a little bit unlucky with that tackle. I mean, I think my center back would want to take the ball with him, but then it's a one-on-one situation with the keeper, 2-1, and then we get our own corner goal. Very back and forth, very box-to-box game. No defense despite us being up by 1 man. I don't know. If it makes sense to you, good on you. It doesn't make sense to me. But it's 2-2 in the 34th. Now we're in the 37th minute. 2-2 still. Arp gets the ball. Round the corner to Rogers. And is he going to beat Mellish for pace? Not really. Mellish is staying with him very well. But he's able to hold the ball up here for a second. Find the ball back into the inside. Asugo to Stanley, and oh my lord, what a finish. He kind of falls over there because, you know, he doesn't really have strength, but he's able to hold off his man for long enough to make it 3-2. Directly off of kickoff, Mellish finds Holohan, but Rogers just beats him there. Good physicality from the man, finds Arp, and it's already just, it's a wrap. Stanley across, Richardson, 4-2 Atlas FC. In the 47th minute. Now, Grimsby get the ball back again. It's in the 55th now. Hollow in to Taylor. Taylor just, again, a little bit too much time and space. If you want commentary to describe that absolute quagmire of ping pong ball that just happened, I can't. It's 3-4 to them, but just to know, who's even assisted? My center back's shin? I guess. Who knows? Donaldson here, though, finds a Sugo. It's the 72nd minute. We have a 1-goal advantage. Wide to Patterson. Cuts inside. Stanley has oodles and boodles of space. He makes it 5-3. It's looking like a title for Atlas FC. We just need to hold out for the 3 points. Pierias to Clifton. Clifton just vibing, passing the ball around the back. For who knows what reason. You'd think they'd want to be a little bit more offensive, but they are down to 10 men, and we haven't necessarily shown ourselves to be particularly defensive this game. But what we have shown is that we can score too. Counter-attacking football. I mean, do you see how much space Arp has? You think he's not going to score this? He's going to score this. It is 6-3 to the good, and that makes it so in our inaugural season as a club, we are going up. Champions of League 2, Atlas FC. Feels good. It's what our board wanted us to do. We had the talent to do so. We spent the money like we were going to. And at the end of it all, let's just sit back and enjoy the festivities. Atlas FC, champions. Looking at the table at the end of the season, we finished at the top with a 6-point margin. Northampton won their game in hand, and I did not see who joined us through the promotion playoffs. And Grimsby Town, joined by Harrogate and Tranmere, finished bottom and presumably would be going to the National League. Looking at the top goal scorers, Arp and Richardson leading the line in the league with a combined 60 goals in 86 games. You can't ask for more than that. We also had another player on there, Max Mayer, who finishes 25th. He was actually out for the last 2 to 3 months of the season. He got a couple minutes in the last game. And despite being out those months, he also finishes top in assists, joined by Arp on 12. At the club level, Arp finishes top with 42 goals in all comps, followed by Richardson with 31 and Mayer with 15, plus a good smattering from the rest of the team, and an even better smattering in terms of assists, with Arp and Mayer finishing joint top with 15, and Rogers and Richardson finishing joint second with 10. I mean, 3 double-digit goals, 4 double-digit assists. You couldn't ask for better attacking football. And then here are the overalls, in case people were interested. At the end of the season, we got a lot of players that can continue to grow, and I'm excited to see how they will grow in Season 2. Then, just for a quick little recap of the rest of the world, Real Madrid win the Super Cup, Liverpool win the Champions League, Dortmund win the Europa League, and Villarreal win the Conference League. This brings us to our end of the season recap. It's been a great first season. I'm super excited for a second season, so let me know who you'd like to see me sign in the comments down below. Any changes to the kits, any changes to the stadiums, just let me know your suggestions down below. And as always, it's been your boy, the Human Atlas. See ya.